Hello, boys and girls. I just finished reading Sitti's Secrets, and I wanted to talk about some of the themes from the text. What are secrets? Sometimes they're personal things that you keep to yourself. Other times they're treasures that you can share with a certain few. In this story, Mona gets to know her grandmother Sitti, and she finds out some secrets that she never knew and become very precious to her. The first thing we learn about Mona's grandmother is that she lives far away from Mona. She lives on the clear opposite side of the earth. However, there are many similarities between where Mona lives and where her grandmother lives. Mona ends up having a wonderful opportunity to go and visit her grandmother. When she does, she finds out another secret. Her grandmother doesn't speak the same language she does. What are they to do? Her father ends up translating between Mona and her grandmother. That means he takes the information from Mona's language and puts it into a language that Mona's grandmother can understand. The text says that Mona and her grandmother end up developing their own language so that they can communicate without the translation from her father. What kind of communication did Mona and her grandmother develop? Through pointing and simply moving, they end up communicating ideas to each other. For instance, Mona's grandmother moved the sheets. In order for this kind of communication to be effective, one must be a good observer. Mona observed the tattoos on her grandmother's hands. They were birds. She thinks about that when she's flying back home in a gigantic metal bird, a plane. This is a metaphor, of course. A plane isn't a bird, but the author uses the idea of a bird to show how Mona is flying over the great ocean that separates her and her grandmother. Metaphors are figurative language. There's another form of figurative language in this story. It's called hyperbole. Hyperbole is when you make a great exaggeration. Can you remember a time in the story when the father uses hyperbole? It's a couple of times, and they're similar. He says that the grandmother has had those birds on her skin for 100 years. Do you think that Sitti had that tattoos for 100 years? That hyperbole shows that the grandmother has had the tattoos for a very, very long time, longer than the father can even remember. The very end of the book has Mona writing a letter to the President of the United States. Why does the author have that in the story? This is a theme of the text. Mona, in the end, becomes a translator, just like her father did. Instead of it being language, she's translating the culture of her grandmother to the President of the United States. Just like the text, there are ways to communicate other than words. Remember, Mona and her grandmother developed a language where they were pointing and observing. Sometimes actions are their own language. Like when Mona played marbles with her cousins, they didn't even have to talk to one another. I hope you enjoyed reading this text, and I hope you enjoyed this little video I made for you to explain a few parts of it. Watch the video that Mrs. Vernon made a few times and read the text as you listen to Mrs. Vernon read it out loud. You're going to answer a few questions about the text, and I look forward to talking with you about it.